Hi ladies, welcome to this video about feminine energy. I'm here today to share some tips about how to upgrade your life through feminine energy and exactly what feminine energy is. I looked into feminine energy for the first time properly about 3 or 4 years ago, and it has honestly completely changed the way I look at everything. I've realized that I was in my masculine for so much of my life. And just like many of us women out there, we are raised in this very masculine energy world, but we have the feminine energy inside of us. But to get ourselves out there and to function in society, we have to be good at being in the masculine, and we're really good at it. So many of us are so highly functioning in this energy, and what happens is that we then bring this energy back home and into our relationships, and this can cause lots of problems, because if you have a man in his masculine and a feminine in her masculine, this is like two bulls like locking horns, and there's no polarity. The chemistry isn't there, and also being in our masculine energy all the time as women, it drains us, it doesn't energize us. And so being in the feminine is really just it's the part within us that just wants to shine from the inside out, and people pick up on it all around us, whether we're walking down the street, we're talking to someone in a shop. People can pick up on it on the other side of the world when you have this shift in your energy. Have you ever noticed when something shifts inside of you, and then the next day you'll receive a message from someone, maybe an ex-partner or something, they pick up on it? And so I've started now to actually consciously step into this energy and to be in control of it, rather than just sometimes going into it by accident. So I've just written down a few tips for today. So the first tip is about receiving. So feminine energy is about receiving and being, and the masculine is about doing and giving. So obviously we're not going to be in our 100% feminine energy all the time, and within our relationships we should be in this energy about 60-40. So 60 in our feminine energy. A lot of us women, we're really good at giving advice, doing favors, offering support. And when we're in the relationship with a man, we really want to give the man the space to solve his own problems and to rev up his masculine energy by being in that more giving, doing. So when we can step back, being in our feminine, it gives the man space to step into that masculine area, which we can be so good at being in, but we really just have to lean back. And so we can start off just by receiving, even if you're not in a relationship right now, by just every time we go out, every time we interact, just pay attention to how people are giving to us. So maybe the guy behind the counter at the supermarket gives us a nice smile and wishes us a nice day. Take that as a gift, take it inside, and just make a note of it, and go on with your day, just paying attention to all these nice gifts that people are giving us every day, but we maybe don't realize it. And receive compliments, receive everything gracefully. Sometimes I can find myself, when someone gives me a nice compliment, I want to kind of put myself down somehow, like, oh no, I didn't really make much effort this morning, or oh, I'm not really that good at it. But you're actually denying that person the gift of giving you a gift. So receive and really open up your heart. Feminine energy is about really being in our heart space, being in that space of vulnerability. It can be so vulnerable to receive. It's much easier to give, but it's very vulnerable to receive because you open your heart up. So to really just really consciously receive from men, from women. A few days ago, I went into a cafe. I was having a really bad morning and I really needed a coffee. So I went in and my energy was really low and I felt very insular. I didn't actually really want to be around anybody. And I was very quiet. And I was in the cafe for about half an hour, and then when I went to pay, the young waitress just looked at me as she was giving me my change, and she said, "Can I say something?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "You are so beautiful." And my eyes just welled up, and I really just took that in. And it really made my morning. And then I went out and I could feel myself being more of an energy that I wanted to then reciprocate that to other women. And so all the time, people are giving us even just little things here and there, little gifts. Receive them graciously, and yeah, really bring them into your heart. Okay, so the next tip I want to share is about creating magic in your life. Life is magical, and these energies are so magic when we really can consciously play with them. And I have watched people, men, transform their energies in front of my eyes by really just stepping into my feminine, by receiving, by sharing what's on my heart. And it's so nice to receive, not just by saying thank you, but actually by sharing how something makes you feel. So, I feel so special. I feel like a princess. My heart feels so full of love. Um, these are letting people know, particularly men, how what they're doing and what they're saying for us feels in our bodies. It's magical. So, other ways to increase magic. I love listening to bedtime stories. I really got into it when I read Women Who Run with Wolves by Clarissa. Let me write it down here somewhere. Clarissa Pinkola. If you've not read that book, I would really recommend it. And what I then did was I went onto YouTube to see if I could find an audio version. And what I found was just little clips from, I think some of them were read by her, but some of them were read by other women, and just maybe like 10-20 minute short stories to read before bed. It really took this magic and put it into my subconscious that I would then go to sleep with. And also just by noticing when magical things happen, when you experience an intuition that you act upon and then it goes well, or you experience a synchronicity and you really just get these little messages from the universe or God of you are on the right path. Thank you so much for this message. It's again another way of receiving. And the more you notice these synchronicities, the more they will happen. This is really actually connected with another video I did on the book, The Celestine Prophecy. I would really recommend that book. It's a novel, but I have done a video on the 10 prophecies, just like a shortened version without the backstory. And this book is all about paying attention to the synchronicities in life, because this is our guidance and our compass. The feminine energy is really, it's about our intuition. And the more we listen to our heart and these messages that can come in so many different ways, often through people. So something I've been really aware of recently is when I get these no's from the universe. So sometimes when I get a no, I can feel like, no, this is an invitation here to actually find a way around it, so I can actually go through that, and I'm not going to accept that no. But sometimes I really just feel this is a message from the universe that I'm not supposed to be going down this route. So it could manifest as a no from a job offer. And then you realize actually this job is not in line with my heart's desires. I'm going to accept that no, and I'm going to take that as a message to apply for something that's more aligned. Or it could be a no from a man or a breakup. Accept the no, because that person is probably not going to be aligned with your future self. That's what the message is from the universe. But really you just have to feel it within yourself, and only you know the answer to that. And so picking up on these messages and then just reinforcing through something like a mantra. My life is so magical. People are sending me little gifts all the time. it is safe enough for me to receive them, and I am guided all the time by the universe. So really creating your own mantras and then saying them to yourself every day, and noticing when something comes up in your mind, these critical voices of, I'm not good enough for this, I can't do this, what will people think of me? Those are limiting beliefs. And when you flood your mind with these positive mantras, there's no space for these limiting beliefs to grow. So the next one is something I've recently started doing in the last few months. I asked a friend of mine who is on a very similar journey to myself, and is always so supportive to me and for each other, if we could create weekly soul work, goal setting sessions together, because I didn't feel like I had the money at the time to hire a life coach or a therapist. And I realized I've actually already got so many wonderful people in my life, and I already have so much knowledge in myself, that we can start to share our wisdom and our support in a conscious, focused way. So we take like an hour or an hour and a half every week, and we share our goals with one another, maybe like 3 or 4 each week. And we write down both of our goals as we're going through, and we keep each other accountable. And those sessions have now turned into supporting one another with creative projects, with business ideas. And what we normally do is we also have time, normally at the beginning of the session, before we talk about the goals, to just share what's been going on in our lives, and if there are any emotional blocks first that need to be released and witnessed before we can then go on to set goals. So if you haven't got the money for a coach right now, find people in your life that have the resources and that you know are going to be your best cheerleader. And speaking of cheerleaders, another tip is to become your own best cheerleader, because you will then attract other people in your life that will reflect that back to you. And that's when it comes back to the observation of the limiting beliefs, and speaking to yourself how you would to your best friend or to your child. The next thing I wanted to share, feminine energy is all about being in the body. So a really great way to instantly get into the body is just to feel something that's either whatever you're sitting on or something that you're wearing. You can do this without anybody even noticing, and just really hone your attention onto this fabric and observe how it feels on your fingertips. Is it soft? Is it hard? Does it make you feel warm? This is also a really great tip if you're in a situation where you're feeling anxious. Maybe you're on a date, or you're just in a situation with people where you suddenly feel this stress in your body or anxiety. Touch something and it will bring the attention from the external into the body. And from that place, you can calm yourself. You can also much better know what's going on in your body to then express it to the other person. So if someone is saying something that makes you feel uncomfortable, you can take a moment, go into your body, and you can just express, I feel really uncomfortable. And sometimes it's enough just to say that, and the other person in front of you will realize the impact of what they've said, because if you don't express it, they can't read our minds. And what else was I going to say? Yeah, sometimes things happen and you're really just in shock, like you weren't expecting somebody to say a certain thing. And in this situation, I just say something like, ouch. Or I would buy myself some time and say, oh, I don't know how to feel about this. I'm going to go away and feel my way through it. And then I would love to talk. Also, just making sounds in my body. This is also can be related to human design. I'm a manifesting generator. And I remember that in my profile, it's all about making decisions from the gut. So it's without thinking about things too much. I just have to go for it. And one of the ways of knowing what the decision is those initial sounds that come out of the body. So like, oh, oh, mm. And sometimes you can just express simply a sound, and the other person will pick up on that energy. And the feeling statements aren't just, how, if you're feeling uncomfortable or something, it's also what I was talking about earlier. If someone does or says something that makes you feel really good, to share that. Wow, I feel so happy to hear that. I feel so excited. Okay, and the last tip I wanted to share is actually about masculine energy. So in order for the feminine to be able to really shine, we need the masculine hold. So this could be creating a safe space in your house. It could be your bedroom. It could be an office space. It could just be a shelf if you're sharing space with somebody, where you can come to if you're feeling triggered or sad or insular. You can go to that space and it looks beautiful. And every time you go there, and also with a kind of ceremonious intention, this is a sacred space. Every time you visit that, from that energy, you're reinforcing that this place is safe. That's a masculine hold. The masculine hold can also look like boundaries. And boundaries don't always have to be this very firm, I'm not okay with that, don't do that. It can actually start off, I find that most of the time it's enough to just express how I'm feeling. I feel uncomfortable. This in itself is a boundary, because you're letting the other person know what is okay and what isn't okay. And you'll also, the more you practice feeling statements, you'll get to know who in your life is actually willing and able to listen to your feelings and to respect them. And why would we spend time with people who aren't able to do that, to respect us when we're our authentic selves? So many of us have been conditioned to be the nice girl, the good girl that doesn't complain, that's easygoing. Actually, I'm not interested in being a good girl anymore. I'm interested in being authentic. And if somebody in my life isn't respecting me and seeing me in my authentic self and seeing all those beautiful positives that come from that, I'm not perfect, but I'm living from my heart space. And I want everybody in my life to reflect that back to me, because that's what I want to do for other people as well. So that's my 5 tips for upgrading your life through feminine energy. I can't wait to do more videos about this. This is my favorite topic since I discovered it. It's all I can talk about. I talk to everybody about it, whether they really want to know or not, because it's something I feel so passionate about. And for me, it's my path to really living in my authenticity and getting the most out of life and being the happiest. So I hope that you can start to implement some of these tips in your life straight away. And I have an Instagram account. I will put the details for below. I'd love to see you on there. And please share any other tips that you also find help get you into your feminine energy. Let me know what you think of these tips, and also any ideas for future videos. Would be really grateful to receive. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. See you soon.